Good everyone, I'm AzureBlaze, and welcome to the 4th episode of my Kirby Mario Marathon that I've been doing for a little while, despite it only being the 4th episode. In this episode, I'll be discussing Mario the Lost Levels and its subsequent remake as part of Super Mario All-Stars. I'll probably be talking about the remake more though, and I'll get into that in a little bit. However, yeah, the first game, the original version of the game, came out in 1986, I believe, and the remake as part of All-Stars came out in 1993. First thing to get out of the way straight off the bat, the original version looks almost identical to the first Mario game. There are some differences. A lot more things have eyes, which is a thing that I do like. And then everything else, so, like a lot of the other blocks and stuff have like new textures, which in my opinion are a lot more visually noisy and a little bit hard to like discern, I guess. Therefore, I'm not the biggest fan of that as much. However, yeah, otherwise, game looks basically the same, and the remake does basically the same thing as the first game's remake does, updates it to make it look new, and sadly, even though there was a good chance for them to like change out the remake, how it looked and everything from the first game, the remake style is basically identical almost to the first game's remake style. Therefore, yeah, it looks basically the same. It would have been interesting to see like what they would have done if they made it more unique and different from the first, however. And I think that sort of works the same with the music. The music is basically exactly the same. It might be exactly the same. I don't know if there's anything new or not. However, yeah, it's basically everything's the same in that way. Not much really done that. Moving from the art style though, the gameplay is basically identical as well, including the wonky physics and all. Yeah, this game is a very, very similar. It's almost like a difficult expansion pack from the first game, I guess is probably the best way to put it. Yeah, however, like, I think the biggest problem with this game as well, when it comes to those wonky physics, is this game uses those wonky physics as part of, like, the gameplay. Like, there's certain parts in the game that you have to use those physics, and it becomes a little bit frustrating, personally, yeah. When it comes to the levels, though, almost all of them feel a little bit frustrating. They kind of like, yeah, they're kind of like frustrating Mario Maker levels. Is probably the best way to like put it all. And yeah, they can get a little bit on my nerves. I knew going into this game it was going to be a lot more difficult. There's a lot of things, like I've seen a lot of things about it and all that sort of thing. However, yeah, going straight into like some of the levels, I guess stuck out to me. 2-2 has a part that requires finding invisible blocks, which took me forever to figure out. I did not know, and even though I was like jumping around in that section, seeing if maybe it was an invisible block thing, I never found them for like ages until I like saw it on a YouTube video or something like that. Like that was frustrating in its own right. And then 4-4 took me ages to get through because the amount of fire everything, like the castle, there was fire everything in there, and it was super easy to hit like fire bars and all sorts. That was a little bit frustrating. He kept hitting Mario. Right after that, 5-1 seemed to be a fairly long level, and it added wind. It had to be used to cross some gaps to sort of like get greater distance and stuff like that. That's a fun little mechanic. 7-3 uses it, and you have to use it to get almost across the whole level. I think they went a little bit far. My gosh, that was difficult. I think the biggest problem was like you use the springs to get up into the air, and then you had to find your way back down to the next spring or platform that you need to land on. However, you go that up in the air, and with the wind pushing you the whole time, you don't know where Mario is, and you fall down and you can't stand on anything. That is a little bit frustrating. However, otherwise, like the wind mechanic I find is a pretty fun mechanic. I do like that they added it, and I think it would have been neat to see more fun ideas like this added to the game. However, but what I understand, it's like the only real one. I guess you can call the poison mushroom another one. Yeah. Ultimately, though, I didn't finish the remake, and I did the remake first. I think that's something I sort of decided on back when I started this marathon, that I do the remake versions first from All Stars and then go back to the original. And I did end up finishing it. I got to 7-4, and I couldn't get past Bowser. I simply couldn't, and I barely had time to sort of go back to the original or anything like that. I played it a little bit. I'll play it some more after I finish recording this to get some footage and all that sort of thing. However, yeah, otherwise I gave up. Honestly, this game made me that frustrated that in the end I simply gave up. And it takes a little bit for a game to frustrate me. It's not very often that I tend to have a game these days, at least, that tend to frustrate me. Have like this game. Oh my gosh, this game. I spent like 2 hours on it yesterday before recording this, trying to get past 7-4, and I couldn't do it. And eventually I was like, that's it, I'm done. This is how the video is going to go, because I think this is a good reflection of how I feel about the game. Like, this is my thoughts on this game, therefore this is a good reflection on how I feel about the game. It's simple as that. Yeah, overall though, I guess, sort of say that, considering I didn't finish it, the game feels rather strange for what would be considered a Nintendo game. Like, with the amount of what is considered, like, probably unfairness, I think is probably the best way to put it. It's like, the game feels as if it was developed about, like, how much could be thrown at the player, as opposed to simple fun. And, as I said, I had an idea, like, of what it was going to be like going in. However, at the end of the day, it was a Mario game. That's what I kept thinking to myself, like, I know it's going to be difficult, however, at the end of the day, it's a Mario game. I should be able to be fine getting through it, however, no, couldn't do it. Therefore, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever go, like, back to this game and finish it off. I might try one day and try the original, however, I don't have any plans to at the moment. Next up for the marathon is Kirby's Dream Land 2. However, that won't actually be next month. Next month, I have plans for 2 other My Thoughts on videos. One of them is the Sonic Superstars My Thoughts that I've been trying to get done for ages and haven't even started, which is frustrating. I do really want to get it done, and I think with next month being the year anniversary as well of the game, I think that'll probably be the perfect time. And then after that will be another game's My Thoughts on, and I won't say much more. Therefore, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I shall be back in the next one. Cheers, everyone.